Alright, y'all, look, it is 5:42 a.m. Alright, I was trying to find a video for y'all, some salacious shit, because I got some other good videos, but I really wanted a banger, you know? Fuck. I shouldn't have called it a banger, because of what the video is about. This video is titled, The Streamer Who Killed His Girlfriend on Screen for Donations. For donations. Now, when I say they do anything for clout, niggas are really doing anything for clout, bro. This is kick streamer like movements. This is horrible. This is horrible. Rest in peace, his poor girlfriend, bro. We're just gonna get straight into the video. The videos on this channel tend to revolve around crimes, horror, and strange, often disturbing stories. If you find that kind of thing disturbing, please reconsider watching this video. Actually true. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get straight into it, man. Let's get straight into it. I hope this guy's canceled, right? Or arrested. Yeah, for surely arrested. Anyway, if you like the video, man. If you like the video, subscribe. Add issues.team on Instagram. Issues.thewall.com. Man, we'll get y'all some fire pieces, and let's get into it. I do want to say, somebody commented, and he's right. Hold on. This is for documentary purposes. I do not support, endorse, or otherwise aid the criminals in this video. Neither should you. Yeah. To pan off of this, somebody in the comments just said his supporters are sick, and they are, because it says it was for donations. Somebody donated and told him to do this?
As the digital landscape of content creation continues to evolve, so do the ways that people try to earn money. When it comes to streaming, the donation system has led to all sorts of odd personalities popping up, some of which we've talked about on this channel. Some of these streamers, though, dubbed trash streamers, have come up with increasingly scummy, violent, and criminal ways to gain attention and donations, with some even turning to manslaughter.
What the fuck? I'm gonna let this one play. We're not gonna pause this video.
Today we have the story of a trash vlogger living out in Russia, and if you don't know what a trash vlogger is, it's actually a pretty simple concept. The streamer will invite a few friends over, and they'll usually get really drunk, or high, or both, and start doing stupid stunts on camera in exchange for money. Most of the time, they just end up being a group of rowdy dum-dums, but on several occasions, trash vlogging has led to something more horrible. Reflay, real name Stanislav Reshetnyak, was a Russian YouTuber slash streamer born in October of 1990. He joined YouTube for the first time on November 16th, 2017, when he was 27 years old. He was a gamer who mainly did Let's Plays, having one channel for his vlogs and one for his gaming.
Damn.
Over time, though, he realized that he wasn't really making a whole lot of revenue on Let's Plays. By then, the genre was very oversaturated and it was becoming harder and harder to find an audience. Over time, Reflay came to realize that he would earn much more money by simply getting drunk on streams and acting like an asshole. Whenever someone would send him a tip with a request for some kind of stunt, he realized that doing that stunt would send the audience into hysterics and lead to more and more requests and more money. The requests got more...
Does this count as grooming? Because technically, you should have self-control, but the chat is grooming you into doing whatever they want you to do. Now, listen, it's probably a better word I could have used, maybe manipulation or what have you, but this is crazy, bro. It'll show you the real power that money has.
Bold and dangerous over time. It was only a matter of time before they would lead to something criminal. These stunts soon became Reflay's so-called profession. He soon started inviting more and more friends over to help participate in these stunts. After a while, the requests came to involve bullying, pretty extreme cases of bullying. Reflay would be asked to do all manner of horrible things to his friends on stream, and he couldn't pass up the cash. One victim of his streams was his friend, using that word lightly, 32-year-old Valentin Ganichev, known online as the Deputy. Valentin had become homeless, suffering from alcoholism and various other different mental illnesses. He got an offer to come and live in Reflay's home, and it was an offer he couldn't pass up. Little did he know it would lead to nothing less than agony over a period of 3 entire years. It started out small, with Reflay splashing water in his face on stream or slapping him upside the head. Things did get worse over time though, with Reflay coming to beat him and even tricking him into drinking urine. He had slop and alcohol poured all over him numerous times, with eggs smashed on him and fish intestines slipped into his food.
And it's like, bro, you can't even do anything about this. Because if you start anything with this guy, honestly, bro, he's probably going to kick you out. You might as well. The best thing you could do, bro, is pack your bags and leave. That's all you can do. But if you're broke and you got nowhere else to go, bro, you kind of just have to take this. This is really sad.
At one point, they even buried him up to his head in the ground. It was said that Valentin himself was receiving a bit of the money for playing this role so often, causing him to stick around for more. On some streams, Valentin would tell the sometimes worried audience that he was with his friends voluntarily, but on others he would claim that his documents had been stolen by them, even urging someone to call the police or an ambulance.
Yeah.
Some members of a public organization that fights against modern slavery did what they could to convince Valentin to leave, and after a while he did. However, it wasn't too long before he went back to his friends and the show started once again. Members of the organization said that he didn't feel like he was a victim of these streams and didn't see much wrong with it.
Man,
a while
look at your
later,
face.
Valentin got a lawyer and went to the police station, officially informing them that he had no complaints with the other streamers, saying that he was a voluntary participant. So, in the end, there wasn't much the police could do. After 3 years, he finally left for good. It's unknown if this was because he simply couldn't stomach it anymore or for some other reason. Regardless, Reflay now needed a new target to keep the cash flowing in. This is when he began to pick on the elderly and the disabled, basically anyone he felt that he could bully and get away with it. The next person who would come to be the main target of his on-stream abuse would be none other than his own girlfriend, Valentina Grigorieva, a 28-year-old woman who came to show up on his streams more and more often. While his actions against Valentina started out with mere words, mainly banter and insults, the donations started flowing in and the stunts had to get more and more outrageous. In one video that went viral, Reflay pinned her to the ground and screamed in her face.
Oh no.
As she began to cry, he began to beat her. It took a friend pulling him off of her for this stunt to stop. She then slapped him back, walked away, grabbed a pot, and smashed it into his desk while onlookers watched. Over time, the
Honestly, just pour water on his PC. Then what? Then what, nigga? Shit. How much do you think they had to pay him for this, though? This is crazy. He beat her, bro.
abuse got more and more intense. On one occasion, Reflay took out a can of pepper spray, casually walked over to where Valentina was laying on the couch, and sprayed it in her face as she screamed. As she rolled around on the ground in pain, Reflay calmly went back to his computer and started reading through the chat. In September of 2020, Valentina reported to the police that Reflay had beaten her. Shortly after, she was diagnosed with a leg injury. Then again in October, Valentina went to the police twice to report Reflay. She said that he had beaten her while he was drunk. Little did she know, things were only going to get much, much worse. December 2nd, 2020, a small town called Ivanovka in the Moscow area. Reflay was streaming once again alongside both Valentina and their friend Marina.
Oh no.
The stream started out like most did, with the trio drinking and listening to loud music. This was when one of the biggest single donations Reflay had ever seen, one of a whole $1,000, came in.
Oh no.
The request was simple: beat Valentina and lock her outside. This was bad enough on its own, but as anyone in the world knows, Russian winters are no joke. The temperature was already well below freezing outside. Nevertheless, Reflay complied without hesitation. He grabbed Valentina and slammed her to the ground. He then beat her, landing several blows on her head before stripping her down to her underwear. He then upped the ante by pouring cold water all over her. Reflay and Marina grabbed her and attempted to drag her outside, but she continued to protest and even threatened them with a knife. They got the knife away from her though, and eventually succeeded in forcing her out onto the balcony, mostly naked, covered in cold water in the freezing temperatures.
Yo, this is really some horror movie shit. And what's even worse is that her friend helped him. But what's even worse is that he's improvising. Nobody told you to strip her and pour cold water on her. You did that on your own.
Valentina said, "Stasyan, I'm cold, brother. Can I go back inside?" To which he flatly responded, "No." As he usually did, Reflay calmly returned to his computer. This was all routine at this point. He told viewers that Valentina stank, suffering from what he called an intestinal disease. He added that she was a prostitute and he could never bring himself to be with someone like that. It's important to note that there's no way to know if she actually was. There's basically no information about Valentina out there that isn't connected to Reflay in some way, so we know very little about her background. However, being that Reflay is how he is, it's important to take anything he said with some pretty heavy scrutiny.
For real.
He continued to stream and respond to donations while Valentina was out on the balcony, banging on the doors and even screaming. Eventually, though, her screams subsided and her banging stopped. Things got quiet. After not too long, Reflay seemed to have forgotten that she was even out there. At some point during the stream, Reflay and Marina got into an argument and walked off screen. He then returned to the computer alone. The stream lasted for a full 2 hours, much of that taking place after he locked her outside. Eventually, he remembered that she was out there and went to go let her back in. He found her lying down on the ground, motionless. He dragged her inside, but she was completely unresponsive. She was pale and looked completely lifeless. She wasn't breathing at all. Reflay began to slap her, saying, "My bunny, what's up with you?" He attempted CPR to no avail. He yelled to the audience, in tears, "Guys, no pulse. She's pale. She's not breathing," before begging Valentina to wake up, saying that he loved her. He carried her over to the couch and covered her in a blanket. He continued to drink and stream for a little longer before he decided he would call an ambulance. He did so, but he still didn't shut the stream down. He continued to respond to the chat while he waited for them to show up. He told his viewers to inform her mother about what happened to her and to say goodbye to her. Paramedics arrived on scene, pronouncing Valentina dead on the spot. It was far too late to do anything. The police showed up as well, telling Reflay that they would work out who was responsible for this. It wasn't until the police showed up and began talking to him that he finally shut the stream down. While it was originally assumed that Valentina had frozen to death, this would prove not to have been the case. At the hospital, it was found that she suffered from cerebral trauma, having bruising all over her face and hemorrhaging of the soft tissue. She had a subdural hematoma, which was believed to have been the result of no less than 3 hard blows to the face. That very day, Reflay was taken in and interrogated. Reflay admitted to the police that he did hit her several times on the head, telling them flatly that he did indeed beat her.
And we have footage for this. Where did they get this footage from?
They let him go for the night, for some reason, but took him back in the next night. Only 1 day later, YouTube completely removed Reflay's channel, with a YouTube rep telling media outlets, "We're shocked to learn of this tragic incident. This kind of graphic content is not acceptable on YouTube." Although the original livestream did not take place on YouTube, we quickly removed re-uploads and terminated the associated account. While Reflay was taken into a police car in handcuffs, he looked surprisingly calm and unbothered. He told reporters that he hadn't done anything. He insisted that Valentina went out onto the balcony on her own and that he simply forgot she was out there and didn't realize she hadn't come back in. When asked if he regretted all of this, he responded, "What is there to regret? I didn't really do anything." He was taken into jail where he would remain until his trial. Reflay told officials that Valentina was his best friend, saying, "Valya was my best friend, very kind and loyal. She was so talented. On my streams, they called her Genius. She was an actress who graduated with honors.
What the fuck?
She truly wanted a real relationship, but I couldn't be with her.
So she was a... Oh, okay.
You see, she was a prostitute. I didn't want a relationship with a girl like that." He then suggested that Valentina might have died from a drug overdose. While he had originally shown a bit of sympathy towards her and acted as if he had a part in her death, his story had since changed. He said that she was a prostitute, on drugs, and likely wouldn't have lived long regardless. He was adamant that he didn't use any drugs himself.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She was a genius. Is she graduated with honors? No, I'm assuming he means high school. At first I thought he meant college, but did he say college? But she was also a prostitute? Like, what? What do I not know about Russia, bro?
However, the investigative community soon reported that a case had indeed been opened against him. They weren't buying it that he had nothing to do with her death, especially after the hospital's reports. He was highly suspected of intentionally inflicting grievous bodily harm.
Damn.
By April the next year, Rifle was in court, the Remensky City Court in the Moscow region. Investigators had plenty of his past streams to use against him, where it could be clearly seen that a large number of viewers had seen the beating taking place for themselves. Not to mention, the video had been mirrored and wasn't hard to find at all. He wasn't able to deny any involvement any longer. Unsure if he was malicious or actually insane, they sent him in for a psych evaluation. It was found that he was both sane and fit to go to trial. Once the day of his trial came, news reporters filmed him getting a kiss from his mother, who still supported him regardless.
That's crazy.
His brothers and sisters attended as well, showing their support. They were all in a very solemn mood, refusing to talk to the media in any way. This was aside from one single thing that his mother said, that her son wouldn't hurt a kitten and was very kind. He was convicted on charges of intentional infliction of grievous bodily harm, dangerous to human life, committed with the use of an object used as a weapon, resulting in the death of the victim by negligence. A Russian senator named Alexei Pushkov took this opportunity to call for specific legal punishments aimed at trash streamers, pointing out the gradually escalating cruelty taking place in the shows. He wanted 6 years in jail for the worst of these streams, along with fines. He said, "This is becoming more and more widespread, so it is necessary to legislatively respond to this form of activity. Naturally, if we're talking about direct participation or complicity in murder, then the imprisonment term may be longer." It wasn't a long trial. Rifle was charged with involuntary manslaughter, but he was only sentenced to 6 years in prison. This would be a maximum security prison, though, a penal colony. When he came out of court, escorted to his new home, he was seen in tears as he was filmed. His lawyer expressed an intention to appeal the case, saying, "We have already appealed against the arrest order, and we will continue to insist on his innocence."
What? We have the
heavy news
videos.
coverage of this incident would lead to the government investigating trash streams even
Dog,
further.
you're in 360p.
Shortly after Rifle's case, another case soon came to be known. In this other case, some YouTubers had slammed a woman's head into a restaurant table on stream, and in another video, shockingly, they even buried a homeless man alive for all to see. Just before Rifle's trial in March, a different live stream at a home in Russia showed a woman, a mother of 3, being drugged and sexually assaulted while the streamers tore apart and destroyed her apartment. They asked for more and more donations to continue the destruction, which they received. The stream wasn't even stopped by YouTube as it went on. It was later reported that the main streamer in this case had been dating the woman briefly since her divorce with her husband. Before the police got to this streamer, the woman's relatives found him first and beat him senseless.
Yeah.
In another stream, a man named Andrei Yashin beat his 54-year-old mother on air for donations. The next day, though, the woman told police that nothing bad had happened and that her son had already apologized, so nothing came of it. Afterward, the two actually
Miriko Hatsune, thank you for the follow. That's a fire name. I followed it.
continued to conduct these.
We're watching a video about trash streamers in Russia that do literally anything for donations. It's crazy, bro. This guy killed his girlfriend. He beat her, and then he stripped her, allegedly in GTA, and then poured cold water on her, and then threw her outside in the cold. It was snowing, and remember, they're in Russia, okay? And then he forgot she was out there. He probably left her out for like an hour or an hour and a half, because they said the stream was 2 hours, and then she died. So yeah, rest in peace.
These kind of streams together. Not all of these streams led to the harm of others. Some of them ended up harming themselves, such as the case of a 60-year-old man in Russia who died after drinking 1.5 liters of vodka on stream.
Damn.
In February of 2021, Vyacheslav Volodin, the Speaker of Russia's lower house of parliament, voiced his disgust at these sort of streams. He wanted to introduce some kind of bill as soon as possible. Women's activists in Russia lashed out toward YouTube as well, saying, "The woman dies on air and the audience sends donations to the killer.
Literally, bro.
This must stop. Such videos are calmly broadcast to the whole world, meaning something is broken. Until this is fixed, censorship is necessary." At the same time, it was noted that it's very difficult to track these streams. They can go for hours on end, sometimes half a day or more at times. 99% of the time, nothing of note happens.
Yeah.
But then, out of nowhere, some instance of severe bullying or intense violence will take place. Given that it could be as little as 1 minute out of an 8-hour stream, the authorities would have a very hard time keeping track of them until after the fact.
Actually true.
YouTube, Twitch.
What's even worse, though, is that there's people donating for this, though. Like, they're asking for this.
And other platforms were urged to do their best in keeping track of these streams. However, trash streams in Russia and worldwide continue to operate, such as the recent RV streams that have been increasing in popularity, with internet
RV.
personalities like Only Use Me Blade and FuzzyTube drinking themselves under the table and or committing crimes right on screen.
Hey, Fuzzy.
Once again, thank you for watching my video. If you found it interesting, please give it a like, as it really helps me out in the algorithm, and feel free to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If you don't mind, go ahead and follow me on social media, because if anything were to ever happen to this channel, again, that would probably be the only way you'd ever hear about it. I also really appreciate it when people donate to my Patreon. There you can get video.
Man, look, listen. You're asking for a little bit too much, bro. 11 p.m. there? Here? Oh, it's 6 a.m. here. I'm actually about to end stream. It's 6 a.m. in the morning. But, that's the video, man. If you like the video, like the video. If you like the vibe, subscribe. Addishes.team on Instagram. It's RushTheWorld.com, man. Go get y'all some fire pieces. And I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Video was crazy, though, by the way. I really feel bad for that girl. It's really fucked up. I'll probably stay alive for a little bit longer. But it is early, late as hell, early as hell, whatever. Just damn, bro. It's really fucked up. People will do anything for money. They'll do anything for fame. And honestly, he didn't even do it for the views. He really just did it for the love of his community, I guess, bro. It's insane. $1,000. And again, he did not have to strip her. He chose to do this. All they told him to do was beat her and then lock her outside. He beat her, stripped her, poured cold water on her. He basically set her up to suffer on purpose, and then forgot she even existed, bro. Crazy. So I think although the chat is very fucked up, I think this is just a fucked up individual in general, bro. But that's all I got for you, man.